What's good, y'all? It's Pod.cannion. I'm back with another reaction video. We have an Xevi, and this is Shaq versus Kobe, the most intense beef in basketball history. And yes, this is like really a moment where Kobe started proving who he was as a once in a lifetime basketball player, RIP Kobe, and just Shaq's, what I'm saying, already superstardom. This is like where you like realize that like obviously it can work, but two superstars on the same team, it doesn't always work because there can be a clash in ego and how things are done. This is like one of those textbook examples, but it's crazy because they still want to ring together, but they didn't like each other for a good amount of time. Um, I'm pretty sure they, what I'm saying, reconciled before Kobe passed away and stuff like that. But man, this era, this was something that they didn't even realize how legendary it was until it was over. And that's how a lot of legendary things happen. Like, of course, we can realize it a little bit more now, but back then, y'all didn't realize how legendary stuff were until it was gone, bro. And that's the crazy thing about it.
It's
But
gotta
yep,
be one of
if
the
y'all like this video, like and subscribe. If you knew all we do is chill up here. With that being said, let's see what Xavi has to say.
the Shaq and Kobe beef has got to be one of the wildest in sports history. Why, you ask? Well, because Shaquille O'Neal had a problem. His teammate Kobe sucked, but he had insane potential. The Lakers called in Shaq. They said, Shaq. He said, They said, we got your teammate. His name Kobe. He a kid. He sucks, but he got insane potential.
Because, yeah, he was drafted, like, one of the lowest ever, I think, like, to the Bobcats. So, you know what I'm saying? They got him in like, a weird trade or whatever. And then this was Kobe's team that he ended up staying on. He ended up staying on the Lakers because they believed in him. A lot of these teams, so many other teams didn't. But they were like, hey, he has insane potential. Let's see what we can do with him. If you look at Kobe's like stats and like his potential as like a draft prospect, it would make no logical sense for any other team to pick him up with his history, like with, you know what I'm saying? I think he was fresh out of high school and stuff. So like just the way he played, it's just like, of course he's good, he has potential, but I don't think he will uh work in the big NBA stand-up. And this is like like literally like next to his name when he's like trying to promote his self and getting into the NBA and stuff. So
Shaq said, that's well and good, but I'm trying to win a championship right now. Because, see, Shaq is considered by many to be the most unstoppable force in basketball history.
Ooh.
Fun fact, they had to change how they made NBA backboards because
he kept breaking them. Like he just kept shattering them shits. Game
breaking
over.
them. Imagine what he did to human being. And he was in his prime at that time. He didn't want to spend his prime, in his words, babysitting a kid. Kobe said, babysit who? I could hoop.
Come on.
Kobe could not hoop. But again,
Stop saying Kobe could not hoop. He just wasn't legendary yet. But he definitely like, man, like when he and Shaq were on the same team, like this was really the point where, man, like the
potential and his work ethic was insane.
Exactly.
Now, one day they're in practice and they start getting a little physical, Kobe and Shaq. One thing leads to another. They start arguing and Shaq smacks him. Pam! Boom! The team jumps in and separates the both of them. Things are bad after this. So the team makes a brilliant move and hires one of the greatest coaches of all time, Phil Jackson. The guy who coached Michael Jordan to 6 championships and was an expert at dealing with personalities. Shaq and Kobe began to dominate, with Shaq not only being the best player in the Lakers, but also the best player in the NBA. Kobe, his right-hand man. They win a championship. Kobe said, yeah, Shaq, let's work hard.
That was the only championship they won too. Damn. Bro. And, like, I feel bittersweet about this victory between them. Because it's like, dog, if they never would have won, like, obviously, I feel like Kobe could have came back and still won other championships. But, like, let's say instead of they won, if they lost that championship, Allen Iverson would have a ring. My city, Newport News and Hampton, would have a ring, y'all. Like, that shit is insane to think about, that we were that close to that shit. Not to say that it can't still happen today, but it's like, we would have got a ring, but at the cost of, like, I guess, just a little bit of Kobe's legacy, because that's one of Kobe's 5 rings. this pivotal moment right here. But I like to think of like butterfly moments like that. Like, what if AI got the ring? Like, would his head get bigger? Would he be like even more of a like media problem? Would Kobe work even harder and like maybe like change the whole course of this shit? Like, I don't know, but just the way that shit happened, that shit was crazy in my opinion. And yeah, they just had all the right parts in this. A hungry Kobe wanting to prove himself and continuously on that trajectory path. Because I think when you look at 2K, Kobe was only like a 79 in this era of the Lakers. But it just kept on going up because he didn't stop. He knew he wanted to keep working and shit. And Shaq was already dominant. So, yeah, like, it was a W victory. I can't lie. But, man, this is where stuff starts taking a turn.
And let's win another championship. Shaq?
Gone.
Somebody came in and said, Shaq already on the plane. He went on vacation. Shaq comes back the next year out of shape. And in Kobe's words, man, Shaq, the guy selling you donuts is working harder than you. Shaq said, hold on now, Kobe. I ain't never been soft. Watch your mouth. Phil Jackson comes in and says, hey, y'all, chill out. Let's just win. Shaq gets it together, and they win another championship.
See, I'm fucking wrong. So that means 3 of Shaq's... Because I know Shaq has 4 in total. So 3 of Shaq's rings are with Kobe. And Phil Jackson. Shout out Phil Jackson, dog. That shit's crazy. And, okay. Because I know... if I'm correct, because I'm sure he won, like... I'm talking about Shaq. I'm sure Shaq won, like, another MVP, like, with the Magic. Did he win a ring when he was with the Magic as well? Or am I incorrect? Because I know Shaq being on the Magic and being iconic is where they started to, like, compare him to Dwight Howard a lot, and he just did not like that at all. But 3 rings, that is solid.
They win again. They were unstoppable, with Shaq inarguably being the best player each time leading the team, which was fine. It's something everybody knew.
Right.
But here's where things start to get wicked. Everybody knew Kobe was good, but nobody knew how good. After they win their 3 championships, Shaq gets injured, so he's taking some time off. So Kobe, not having to share the ball as much, goes insane, and for 9 straight games scores 40 points. If you don't know basketball, that's a lot of points.
Yeah.
Now Shaq comes back. Phil Jackson goes, Remember, Phil Jackson knows how to manage personalities, so he immediately pulls Kobe Bryant to the side and says, look, Shaq is back. You need to start passing him the ball a little more. Let's get him back in the... Kobe said, let me stop
you right there.
I'm just finna score. Phil said, you're not listening to me. If we don't pass it to Shaq, he's not going to get back in the flow of things. This pisses Kobe off. Shaq and Kobe begin to argue. Their team chemistry sucks, and they lose a bunch of games. Okay, next year, time to try again. But this time, all of their contracts are up, meaning they have one more year to show out before it's time to renegotiate.
Yep.
Shaq, best player in the league. If you renegotiate with him, you got to pay him a lot of money. Kobe showed he can be the best player in the league. He has a lot of legal drama going on outside right now.
This is around the time of that, so they could probably try to undersell him. Interesting.
Jackson, best coach, but he's having a tough time managing their personalities and lost a bunch of games. And well, here's where things start to get wickeder. Kobe missing a lot of practices because of his legal troubles. One day in practice, Shaq says, everybody here who need to be here. That gets out to the media. Kobe said, what'd he say? Phil Jackson said, chill out. He was just talking. Kobe said, well, if you keep just talking, I'm finna start just talking to the media too. Phil Jackson says, oh, no. So the Lakers and Phil Jackson bring both Kobe and Shaq in. They said, y'all can argue all you want.
In here.
But don't let the world see it. Shaq and Kobe said, all right. Kobe starts coming back to practice. Reporters go to Shaq and say, Shaq, Kobe's back. Shaq says, yeah, and what he needed to do is start passing the ball. Kobe said, what'd he say? Reporters said, you heard what he said? You gonna argue back or you scared? Shaq said, nah, I ain't never been scared. Shaq need to worry about himself. Reporters said, Shaq need to worry about himself. The headlines was going crazy. The two go back and forth until Kobe comes out and does an official interview saying Shaq is fat, he's out of shape, he's selfish, because he want all the money and leaving us out here with crumbs. This was the breaking point. Because the thing is, Shaq be throwing hands. So every Everyone on the Lakers knew. The next moment Kobe came to practice,
hands.
It was on. Kobe knew the same thing. So before he walked through the doors his next practice, he said, all right. Kobe walked in and the team was able to stop things from getting physical. Kobe told Shaq, you said you were supposed to be my older brother, but when all this legal stuff went down, you ain't have my back. For those of you that don't know, Kobe was accused of doing something terrible to a woman in 2003. So their teammate Brian Shaw steps in and kind of sums up the beef. He tells Kobe, bro, we don't know you. When Shaq was inviting people to parties and dinners, you never came because you were always practicing, working really hard. Shaq invited you to his wedding. You didn't show up. You had a wedding. You didn't invite any of us. We don't know you. He said, but now that you're in all this trouble, you expect us all to just jump behind you and have your back. See, well, it's easy to just say this person's right, this person's wrong. It just seemed to boil down to both Kobe and Shaq were just fundamentally different people. Hey, look, it's Allen Iverson. But well, Phil Jackson decided to fine Kobe Bryant for defying his orders and having interviews talking to the media. Shaq felt bad about Kobe's legal situation and decided not to take their beef public. But the team sucked. Well, to be more clear, they were amazing, but they couldn't work well as a team. The Detroit Pistons did play as a team, so they beat the Lakers in the finals. The Lakers called in Phil Jackson and said, Phil, you can't get them together. You fired. Phil said, say less. Shaq said, Phil gone? All right, y'all better trade me, because I know y'all finna do anything for Kobe. Shaq's point basically was, during that last finals against the Pistons, Phil was yelling at Kobe to pass the ball to Shaq. Kobe trying to win the whole thing by himself. They lost. Them saying, Phil Jackson, you're fired.
It's like, do y'all hear this?
Hey, I'm weak as a bitch, but I was really in the bathroom, like, I was really triggered on that line to you, man. Chill, let me shut up. My bad for interrupting you.
Kind of sends a statement. It shows the Lakers seem to favor Kobe. Kobe said, it don't matter to me. I want to go too. The Lakers said, wait, we can't lose all three of y'all. We finished trade Shaq. The Lakers also wanted to play faster and flashier, and Kobe fit that mold better. Kobe said, Shaq, go say less. Kobe stays with the Lakers, and everybody's happy. It's like, stupid. Then Kobe messes up. It comes out that during his legal case, he was snitching a little bit. He said to the police, man, I should have just done what Shaq does and pay.
I did not know about that. So I don't know if this is like a true allegation or not. I think Kobe got found like innocent, but Shaq has a history of just straight up paying women off so that they just shut up completely. Now, don't get me wrong, people usually do the NDA type of stuff, but it's just a different type of like, you know what I'm saying, energy to that accusation where he's like, oh no, he just pays the women off. Other than just have them sign something, it's just like, oh, so you might have a little bit of a consistency with, oh, no, don't say that. I would just pay you.
And off. Everyone looked at Shaq. Shaq said, like Brian Shaw said earlier, Kobe and I never hung out. How would Kobe know that? Kobe goes on an interview and says, I was wrong for that. I want to apologize to Shaq. Okay, cool. But the two didn't really make up. Until a few years later, they become older, wiser, and become very, very close friends. Kobe then tragically passes away in 2020, and Shaq gives a heartfelt speech during his memorial. Two very different men who are among the greatest duos in basketball history, despised each other at first, but eventually were able to find some common ground.
Man, shout out Shaq, shout out Kobe, man. Still hates to see him. I hate to see him go so quick, but man, his legacy with what he did on the court is never gonna go away. And just like looking back at like certain moments in this, man, iconic point in time, one of the greatest basketball players to ever touch the court, one of the greatest teams to ever do what they've been doing, man, it just means something, dog. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, shout out to Xevi. Y'all like that video, like and subscribe if you're new, because all we do is chill up here. With that being said, Y'all be great. Y'all be safe. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Peace.